What up, y'all? We don't watch Abigail. This was a movie that I did not tell Kay about at all. I was just like, we're just gonna watch Abigail. She's like, okay.
Oh yes. So when it first started, it started off with this group of people obviously about to kidnap this kid. Like they show Abigail, which is a little girl doing ballet, and they're all kind of like, while she's doing her recital or whatever that was, they're hanging outside, and you can tell that they're like preparing to take this child. So I thought it was gonna be like kidnap the kid, they demand money, and then we get like a Liam Neeson type of situation or whatever, right? And I was like, okay, that might be, that would be dope. That's fine.
We got the Brit doing the bad Brooklyn accent, right? When he's supposed to be from Queens. It was terrible.
But yeah, so we had him, then we had your favorite.
That dude annoyed the shit out of me as soon as I seen him. I did not like him and said that he was gonna die first, and I was right.
Yeah, there you go.
Then we had the big dumb, strong, like lovable guy. Dude, I love him. He's been in tons of stuff I've watched before. He's a good character actor. This beauty on the screen right here, I don't know her name, but I think she's a Latina. Then we had the hacker lady, the blonde chick. And then of course, the actor of all actors, okay? And I know some of y'all may take umbrage with that, but my boy, John Fring, who now is Gustavo Fring in anything I see him, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good movie. I already knew it was gonna be a good movie. They kidnapped this child, and then they're like in this mansion, which right there should tell you that this weird mansion off in the country is sus, right? I guess it makes sense in a sense, like, okay, nobody will look for us here. But at the same time, I don't think I want to be in some giant mansion. I'd rather be in like a small shack that all of us can cover every point of entry. You know what I'm trying to say? Or a house where we ain't got to worry about nobody surprising us.
Yeah, because I want to know why you picked this mansion. Like, my mind is automatically going to go to, there's like secret room, the secret hide. I was like, yeah, I didn't like that at all. Yeah. I would rather be in some basement.
Exactly. And so lo and behold, when our final girl goes and checks on, she takes her blindfold off, she readjusts her cuffs. After that, they go downstairs and they start like guessing each other's like past and who they used to be and stuff like that, which is funny. And they're all getting drunk, and it's like, me and you, like we said, we have problems with that because it's like, we just stole a child from a very wealthy man. You don't know what connections this guy is. You don't know if he's just a crazy mobster. You don't know what this person, you don't know if it's a senator's daughter. You don't know what's going to happen. Why are y'all getting inebriated?
Exactly. And they were all getting drunk. And what was funny is that while they're doing that, she goes to check on this when she took off the blindfold. And what did this being say to her when she left the room?
Most ominous message.
Joey?
Yeah?
I'm sorry about what's gonna happen to you.
Oh my God.
I'm like, whoa, what? Hold on, like, huh? Wait.
Come to find out that the main character is a veteran. When Abigail tells her that, she goes down and she tells Frank, like, yeah, she just told me that, do we know who her dad is? And he's like, well, she just told me, like, she feels bad for what he's gonna do to us. And so he's like, yeah, well, she's probably just saying whatever to get your sympathy.
Frank runs up there. He freaks out because he's like, crap. And he like, turn around. He like pulls his gun out and he covers his face. Did you see my face? What color are my eyes? And she's like crying and I don't know. And all this other stuff. And then he like asks her who her dad was. And she tells him that her father is Christophe Lazar, who's like this big time gangster. Frank, who we find out is like a former police officer, he's like, I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Later. And it was like, wait, what? What happened? And he's like, her dad is a big time gangster. Like, and they start telling stories about like how people that crossed him like just end up like ripped to pieces. Why would Lambert like set us up like this and not tell us what's going on? And they all kind of start freaking out. At this point, they're all like, okay, we gotta go. And they're like trying to get out the front door. This is when you see that they're all locked into this mansion and stuff, and they all start freaking out.
When that happened, it was like, oh damn, we're stuck here. This henchman that the father has be inside of the house. But there's also suspicion of whether or not one of them is the henchman.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
So Rickles runs upstairs to get his gun, sees that his sniper rifle is gone, and he freaks out a little bit. So then our girl Joey goes to talk to the little crazy vampire girl and asks her, "Yo, are you keeping any more secrets from me?" And she's like, "No."
It's funny because they create like a bit of a little, I don't know if you would call it like kinship or something like that, where they do this like pinky swear type of thing, and sort of like a trust that developed in a short time between the two of them. And so she's like, to anyone else in the house, and Abigail's like, if I say anything, he's gonna hurt me. And she's like, just tell me. And so Abigail says that Frank is the enforcer, that he's her dad's enforcer. So she comes out with that information and she tells Rickles. And so they're like, look, they basically hatch a plan to take care of this together. That plan was short-lived.
And it sucked too, because you could tell like the two of them kind of had like an attraction to each other, right? And so you was hoping that Rickles might make it through. And it's so funny.
I really was.
This is like the Scooby-Doo of vampire movies, right? Right? Because they do the cardinal sin of constantly splitting up. So these two army vets, right, were probably, like, let's be honest, outside of maybe the cop, are probably like the best shots.
I think he's Marines, I believe. I think he's Marines and she's Army.
They walk away from each other, and then you like hear this quick noise, and then Joey turns around, and I said, as soon as that happened, I was like, Rickles is dead.
Yeah.
And Kay was like, what? And I was like, yeah, he's dead. I'm telling you. And then you saw like
swaying.
This sway. I was like, he's dead. And then you get over there and you see like pieces of his face and neck just missing. And he just collapsed on her.
No noise, no nothing. Like he just walked back there.
Like a ninja got him, bro. It was wild. Joey runs downstairs with a gun, pointing a gun at everybody like, all right, everybody get in front of me. Somebody just took Rickles out. Who is it? Like, it got to be one of us. And
y'all just messed up my dick.
But Frank comes out of the outer darkness and stuff. I love how Frank like tricks her to look away and pulls his gun out. That cracked me up. I was like, over there exchanging words, and like, what's going on here? Like, it's funny because they're all like in this like fever pitch, like, what's going on?
Basically trying to figure out like whether or not Frank is the enforcer, and so they're kind of doing like the Spider-Man meme where everybody's like pointing at each other, and so they're trying to figure that out.
All roads go back to Abigail, so they go to visit her, and this is while they're arguing with each other in the room, you see her like taking the handcuffs off, and the only one that sees it is Sammy, and Sammy's like, guys. All of a sudden, this little girl just transforms. Oh my God! In front of everybody, and the movie just goes all, now it's in full horror territory. It just goes off the rails. They shoot her in the head. You see her brains hit the wall. She just raises up, wipes the bullet wound off her head like it's nothing. And from there, she basically just plays with them the whole movie. They try to go through all the stereotypical like vampire weaknesses. They garlic, crucifix, steaks. And they're all like running around the house looking for her. We hear music. They go upstairs and they see Abigail dancing. Abigail is literally dancing around with the headless corpse of Dean, which I found very funny. Very sadistic. Shout out to Alicia Weir. I played Abigail. Very good actress. Very good child actress.
Yeah, she's very good. Yeah, she really was able to embody the sort of like child vampires have, like having been alive for a century.
The funniest part is that they went up there, thought they would be able to kill her, and they all get maimed in some way.
They went up there and she told them, the main character, she kind of warns them against it, like maybe that's not a good idea. They're like, no, they got steaks and garlic and all that, and she just plays around with them and ends up hurting them. And they come down like, all right, that's not going to work. She has one of the syringes that they had when they first kidnapped her. And they're like, that's not going to work. She's a vampire. She's like, well, remember she was a medic in the military. So she's like, well, yeah, her pulse slowed down and her breathing was steady. So it indicates that it did work to some degree. So she's like, y'all go look for her. And when you find her, let me know and I'll hit her with the damn syringe.
Yeah, so
they all split up again.
All split up. They're looking for like dumbasses. Like once again, they're doing the Scooby-Doo gang shit, right? They're looking around. Peter ends up getting a splinter And all of a sudden he's like, oh, my finger. And that was hilarious. And all of a sudden Abigail just comes out of the darkness and goes, and he's like, his face was the funniest thing.
It was so funny.
And so while he's being run down by Abigail, Sammy walks into this room and falls in this pool filled with dead bodies. And it was like liquefied and then, of course, solid dead bodies. And it was pretty disgusting. They all start, freaking out and running from her. And this is the part where she like just meets them all and she's just playing with them. I mean, she's beating them up, throws Peter like directly off of the side of the stair rail, falls down, tosses Frank.
And the beats on all of them, like she really was.
Yeah, she was just choking them out, all kinds of stuff. Eventually, they were able to sedate her and they put her in this like what was like an elevator, right? Like this
elevator, yeah, it's an elevator thing.
This is when we hear the whole reason why these particular people were chosen for this particular mission to kidnap this girl, and it comes to find out
they all have stolen from her dad. So that henchman that everybody was talking about, they didn't know who it was, but the legend has it that this person is vicious and they be tearing people apart. Well, looks like the henchman is this little demon.
Yeah.
and she basically brought all these people here because for her, she needed to get them, for betraying her dad. And they've all had some parts of playing it. She also talks about Joey and her issues with substance abuse.
Yeah.
Frank was a crooked cop. The hacker was embezzling money.
This is a part vampire, part mob movie, if you think about it, because her dad, he's in part of the criminal underground, which would make sense. Ray's a vampire. He probably can't be seen during the day. And if he is one of those vampires that come from like some kind of royalty or whatever, or maybe not, he's making money the way he knows how to make it. And it's just doing illegal shit. And all these people cross him one time. It's diabolical because he takes this little girl, he like sicks her on these people, and she gets to play games with these people. This is her playground. This is why they're trapped there, so she can rip them to shreds and they can't escape.
She's crying and she's asking, like she's trying to get sympathy. You're like, okay.
She acts like she can't open the door, and she's like, whoever lets me out, I'm gonna let two of y'all live. Y'all let me out. So then they're arguing with each other. And big old dumb Peter is like, I'm gonna open the door. Open the door! She said, all right, Peter, just open the door. I'll let you go. And then, he goes to open it. And then Joey shoots him in the side. And so they all walk away. And she tries to get Frank to do it. And Frank was like, Frank, tell me how to get out of here. She's like, you got to promise to let me out. She's like, go to the library and pull this one book. And he was like, thanks. And I'm not letting you out.
I'm in danger.
After she pushes the door down, Joey's smart. She's like literally the smartest one there. Sees some light through like, I think like a wall or a window, and like
that's the sun in.
That's the sun in, and that like makes Abigail's hand explode, and she freaks the fuck out. And that shows you like that literally the only weakness seems to be at this point is sunlight. I think the most sunlight that was actually let into that whole place was in the library. We can't get out. This is the only place with sunlight. What do we do? So then Joey, which, I can't be mad at her, even though it became fruitless. She starts banging on walls and trying to see, where they could maybe like escape. The rest of these idiots are just sitting there letting her do it, which I would have been pissed off about.
The hacker says, oh, wait. If there's a mainframe, I could break into the mainframe.
A power source. She said if there's a power source, she can shut it down and it'll reset everything.
Right. So they decide to do what? Separate again. But not completely this time. They go,
we'll go in pairs, but we'll split up, even though we should probably stay together.
Right.
And that's how we ended up sedating this thing. But yeah, let's go. Let's split up again.
And even though one of us has just been bitten.
That's fine.
So
that works.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
They're, downstairs, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna get out of this. And they're just talking. And she seemed to be really concerned that she was gonna turn after getting bit. While she's standing there, he walks off. She stops, and Abigail putting on a record, start seeing Sammy, she's hearing stuff.
She's hearing Abigail's voice in her head, yes.
Like, oh boy, here we go. Peter turns around and all hell breaks loose from there because Abigail is basically controlling Sammy. Everything that she's doing, Sammy is repeating. She's doing the dancing that Abigail is doing, and she's drinking his blood. She's not fully autonomous under her control.
There's a little bit of sunlight peeking through where they're at, and she's like actively burning, and she's not even noticing because she's being completely puppeteered by Abigail.
There's smoke coming off of her.
Still cooking, and they're running in, and she's like,
He's dead. She got him.
bruh. Like, Sammy, get up and come over here. I'm like, bitch, she is smoking, but this bitch is sizzling like bacon. What are you talking about? Like, y'all don't smell the burning flesh?
As soon as she turns around, Joey's like, run.
And she's slowly turning around too. Like, she's getting up like a whole predator. And then you see her, she got like of course, we've seen this before, but they get to see her. She got the like mouth full of like buck teeth. Brought this up to you when we was watching how like some of their teeth were different. Almost like hillbilly, like vampire teeth. Is real funny.
Back in the library, and she's like sitting there about to like basically comfort them because again, she's being controlled by Abigail. Joey, being Joey, puts up a mirror and hits her with the sun, and
the silver platter thing, she just popped it up. The direct light hits it and she just explodes. That's the funniest thing about these vampires. Like when they die, it's like a
spectacular fashion.
From here, this like bookshelf opens and they're like, well, I guess we're going down there. I'm like, oh my God, like, where's Scooby? Where's Scooby?
Let's go into a dark place, in a place full with another vampire. Let's go into a dark place, and they don't have no fire.
Let's just go, this mysterious bookshelf opens. Let's go down there and see what happens. Go down there and, well, who do we see? My boy, Giancarlo Esposito. You find out Lambert.
That's what he is.
He's a vampire. I like how he kind of talks to them, and you think he's talking to both of them at this point. He's like, yo, help me kill her. I'll turn you. Go kill her. I'm tired of being her puppet, and we can get out of here. And then I like how like Joey's like, no way. It like runs at him. He's like, I'm not talking to you.
Apparently, Abigail turned Esposito.
Lambert.
When they had did a job prior to, she turned him then. Frank, of course, being the dirty vice cop that he is like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. You know, bite me. Let's do it. So Esposito bites him.
And they do something that you didn't see Abigail do to Sammy. Not only does he bite him and probably drink a little bit of his blood, then he like gives Frank some of his blood. The scene after that is what happened to me after I ate some atomic wings. It's just blood. What? Frank turns, looking like pure evil at this point. Frank gets up and stakes this my dude, Giancarlo Esposito. Why they be doing my man dirty? Like, he blows up like a giant balloon full of blood, which is hilarious how these vampires die. He walks up to Joey, and you thinking like, I'm wondering like, how is this gonna go? Is he gonna turn her? Is he gonna kill her or what? And then this dude just walks up and was like, I told you not to fuck with me. I was like, well, I guess I know what's happening to you.
Little did he know, Abigail is still around. Abigail pops up behind him, so he ends up biting her. But he doesn't drain her. He bites her enough to where she ends up falling out. Being the newbie that he is to this vampire life type shit, he thought he had done the job.
A lot of other vampire movies, in this one it shows like whoever makes you has a little bit more control over you. Joey's trying to escape, calling her son, which we find out her son is a dick because he did a whole like message where he thought he picked up the phone and it was just a voice message, and she leaves him a voice message.
Yeah, life and death. And his voicemail's playing games with her.
Tries to leave that message, and of course Frank catches up to her, talks nasty about her kid. Then it's just a scene of Frank with the most Black Air Force energy. And let's be honest, he had Black Air Force energy the whole movie. He's kicking this woman's ass all over this library, and then we literally get a shot of him wearing Black Air Force. And that just sent us at that point.
Yeah, like I was like, are those Black Air Forces? I know Air Forces when I see them. Well, I'll be damned. He done had this Air Force energy this entire time. He's just like kicking her ass, like at this point.
Up and down.
She's put up a fight. Abigail is still alive. She pops up and she's like, look, help me get him out of here and I'll let you go.
Joey was like, say less. I mean, you between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly.
So they fight, and you know, they eventually eventually overcome him and kill him. And Abigail and we have like this kind of touching moment. Like you can tell that, oh, Abigail basically, her father don't care about her. He's just using her as a tool. And she kind of admires Joey's connection with her son. Poppy comes through the door, right? And it's just like, oh shit, you see Kristoff, her pops just walk through the door. And I ain't gonna lie, this dude, I gotta give him some points. He was only in the movie maybe a couple minutes, but he made an entrance. And you knew that this dude wasn't playing.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. I was so exhausted for Joey. I'm like, yo.
This girl's been tossed around. She's been stabbed. And she's just been getting like, she's gonna have all the back problems when she's out of this. Being thrown off this and slammed into that. Obviously, Abigail's old and she's able to handle grown ass men and women. The pops is probably even older. And you could just tell if like when he did that scream, like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, she's done.
He listened to her. He said, look, when you called me, I came. And she's like, yeah, but she was there when you wasn't. He was like, look, get out of here because it's almost dinner time. So that, you know.
And she was like, say less.
Popped in to the van and they slowly limped out the door.
She was almost killed by 4 vampires. 5 if you count the puppet.
She got in that van and she found her little lollipop, which I guess the lollipop is like a comfort thing for her. She's a recovering addict.
She drives off into a world of therapy, you know, and trauma. You're gonna need all kind of orthopedic help after that, because that was wild. But what did you think? What would you give this one?
Oh, that was a good movie, man. I'm gonna say a 9.5. You would have told me in the beginning of that movie that this was gonna turn into a horror, I would have been like, where? But then beyond that is like a vampire thing. It took me on turns that I didn't expect, and it kept me engaged. The acting was good. The fight scenes were good. I liked the storyline. It was interesting. It was different. I didn't expect for that to go in the direction that it went in. It was really good. I'll say 9.5. I liked it.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I have to admit, I already kind of knew the little girl was a vampire and she would be terrorizing these people. So I didn't know that it was gonna obviously be like a heist kidnap type thing, which turned into kind of whodunit, and it like a murder mystery whodunit type thing. We did get us some laughs as we watched it, which, like I said, the action was good. I like the vampire lore. I would actually like to see them do more, maybe another movie, maybe a prequel, how she became one. That would be cool to watch. You probably would have given it that extra half a point, that you gave if I didn't know. But like if I went into this blind, I probably would have given it even higher, because I like movies that subvert my expectations when I'm watching them, and this one definitely had a lot of twists and turns. If you're like me, where I can just listen to people run down a movie and still watch it, I recommend you guys watch it. It's a pretty good movie.
All right, y'all. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to also leave a like. Don't forget to leave a comment. Team Frank or Team Abigail? All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Later.